sich der Welt aus Korea, Jeon.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ITTF Seamaster 2018 World Tour Platinum German Open, coming to you live from Bremen, Germany. I'm your commentator, Adam Bobrow, and we are getting into the last quarterfinal for the women's singles event. It is FENG Tianwei, the pride of Singapore, 31 years old, currently world rank number 4, versus Korea's Jeon, 25 years old, currently world rank number 48, but Jeon has been the player to beat for many this tournament. Of course, the same can be said as no one still in the tournament has lost yet, but Jeon has pulled out some big wins and what could have been considered upsets or at least quite difficult matches along the way. I'll tell you a little bit about that. Jeon, not known for her overwhelming power, but she is quite consistent, quick off the bounce. Now when it comes to FENG Tianwei, she is one of the last serious threats to the Chinese outside of Japan, and in some senses even including Japan before this tournament. But Jeon will have an uphill battle here. I think we will see Nico Zorn, umpire from Germany. Yeah, I guess I'm from Germany. Probably having a conversation with someone else, not me in that moment. It's a little bit like Gert Selig, and sure enough it is. Gert Selig, German umpire. You might recognize me from such Ask a Pro Anythings as Timo Boll. I'm Gert Selig. Big thanks to him for doing that for us, volunteering to help us out. There's a look at the Chinese hard blue rubber there. Looks a little bit like the Ma Long blade. That's FENG Tianwei's, of course. Maybe not necessarily, of course, but just a feeling. FENG Tianwei, again, left China at the age of 17. Went to Japan for 2 years, played table tennis there, had an offer to come to Singapore, and has since been Singapore Athlete of the Year, has brought a lot of positive attention to Singapore through table tennis, between playing very well in T2, playing around the world, bringing the World Championships title back to Singapore over China in 2010. Again, whenever China loses, it is very memorable, especially in the team event, because that means several players have to be beaten from the Chinese national team. FENG Tianwei over Ding Ning and Liu Shiwen, taking 2 points in singles. We will see, interestingly enough, born in Hebei, the Hebei province, Jeon left and has been playing for Korea for some time now. Since 2015, I've really seen her climb in the world rankings and improve. Since the new system, her world ranking has dropped a bit, but her skill level hasn't. Simply as much as we've seen. Some senses I felt like she plateaued a little bit, had a break, didn't see her in many finals. Not deeper than, say, a quarterfinals in a tournament on the World Tour. Tell you a little bit about how these players got here. Where should we start? Oh, I don't know. Let's start with the beginning. FENG Tianwei in the main draw played Satsuki Odo, a very young player, 13 years old, I believe, from Japan. Beaten all sorts of players along the way. Took 2 games off of FENG Tianwei, but FENG Tianwei, victorious, moved on to play China's Huang Yinqi. And that was a 4-3 victory, 11-6 in game number 7 for FENG Tianwei, beating Yinqi. Jeon on the other side beat the hometown favorite Sabina Winter, the hard hitter, 4-2, before moving on to Austria's Sofia Polkanova. And that was a 4-3 victory, 11-9 in game 7. Had a chance to watch that with the Korean team from the dining hall on a cell phone on ITTV. And now the test. Only one will survive. Who's it going to be? FENG Tianwei to serve this best of 7 women's singles quarterfinal. Right down the line, she starts strong. Two forehands in a row. Now, talked about the consistency of Jeon. I was going to say that FENG Tianwei also very quick, really good at angular play, committing, Doesn't have a lot of hesitation in her game. Let was called, maybe let service hitting the top of the net. Sometimes let is called for warning. Umpire telling a player the toss needs to be different, something of the sort. Oh, right down the line, a risky ball from Jeon Ji-hee. Pays off that parallel shot we sought for the first point of the match from Feng Tianwei. Oh, look at this, right back into that wide forehand. This is the safest counter shot in the rally. 2 in a row, stays firm. What you think you know in terms of patterns, it's a lot to do with who's on the other side of the table. Quite a receive. Jeon Ji-hee lets it drop under the table, plays it up to the short side. Flip goes out. From here, it looked like there was enough height on that for Feng Tianwei to have a pretty confident shot. Now, in terms of time between points, these players are getting ready for their match. They're not watching the match before, so they haven't heard the warnings that came to the players before. Deep push over lifted. Jeon Ji-hee trying to spin it deep on the table. She knows if she leaves it a little bit inside, Feng Tianwei played quickly off the bounce, wide out. Or at least that the angle is less predictable. Trying to keep it deep once again. Subtle topspin on the serve from Feng Tianwei. Oh, right back down the line. Once again, we see Jeon Ji-hee, a quick decision. This is something I don't recall from her so much in the past. Not to say it didn't happen, it simply didn't make an impression. Again, the parallel shot's crucial at this level. And on the other side of the table as well with the backhand. I mean, really, if she can make this shot, Feng Tianwei has little time to get the racket back for backswing. She's just going to be pushed into a more submissive position. Backing away from the table, chasing the ball, hitting it without power. Quite a turn here, second towel break of the game. Jeon Ji-hee up by 2. Fast long serve into the middle. Kicking out to that forehand side of the elbow. But it's a good serve because it starts looking like it would be a backhand serve, meaning a serve you would receive with your backhand. Ooh, skates across the top of the net. 2 bounces on the top of the net, the tightrope walker. Nobody calls it. 1-2. Would have been amazing if it did 2 bounces on the net, 1 on the net clamp, and came back for a roller on the table. Oh, a strawberry. Which is funny because I was just about to tell you the name for Feng Tianwei's haircut is the pineapple. But she pulled out the strawberry here. Bit of inside-out spin on the receive, and it caused some trouble for Feng Tianwei. Sure you see the resemblance. Ooh, heavy backspin there from Feng Tianwei at the baseline of the table. More than a push, almost a chop. Look at it one more time. Some good racket speed. The wrist comes up, much like that of the strawberry, but still mostly backspin. Shovel serve, Feng Tianwei back in the lead. She was down 2, now she's up 1. Second serve here. Chance to earn game points. Oh, way behind the table. The counter loop rally goes to Feng Tian Wei. It goes the Feng Tian Wei way. Not easy to do, left-handed players. She's not using the inside-out spin here. Feng Tian Wei a bit more aggressive, a bit more racket speed, it seems. Jeon Ji-hee is going to be stronger, closer to the table. We even see that in her doubles game. Right now, 2 game points for Feng Tian Wei. Big point to save game point. Jeon Ji-hee vocalizing out here. We don't hear too much from Jeon Ji-hee. I think she understands the importance of getting this one early on. Miraculous save. Really, just the edge of the racket, reaching out to the wide forehand, regains her balance and makes an aggressive shot to follow. This was quite a challenging point. And one more with that forehand parallel to finish, so 2 game points saved. Feng Tian Wei now in the serving position. Oh, gets away the backhand. Feng Tian Wei tempted her. All that power from Feng Tian Wei, and it pays off. 12-10. Feng Tian Wei, the Singaporean star, takes game 1. And we'll be back for Jeon Ji-hee versus Feng Tian Wei, game number 2, right after this. Back for game number 2. Feng Tian Wei leading, Jeon Ji-hee trailing now with the serve on her side. A very valiant effort in game number 1, but not enough. Reminder, the winner of this will be playing. Oh, that's interesting. Well, we will see. Chung Yi-ching is left. Yang Ha-eun versus Seo Won. Has that happened? I've been watching table 1. Check for more updates here on the ITTF website. Heavy underspin from Feng Tian Wei. It's funny, there are a lot of different ways to shut down a third ball attack. Talking to Benedict Ola of Finland about the receive game. Some players, Timo Boll, Michael Mays, but let's say Michael Mays, love to keep it really short in the receive. Some add more backspin to it. Michael Mays, part of the conversation again, reported that he will be coming back to table tennis. And that we'll be able to see him in Halmstad. That's the plan. Well-placed serve. Looks like mostly side, a little bit of topspin to carry it up and out. Right off the bounce with the backhands, Jeon Ji-hee closing in, creating the angle. Oh, back edge of the table. I was watching this. We've got the strawberry for the receive, and then down the line, backhand to backhand rally. Feng Tianwei was the first one to dare take the forehand, meaning allow the opponent to take a forehand, play it out to Jeon Ji-hee's forehand. If she can keep it wide to the forehand, Feng Tianwei is going to have a bit of freedom playing it back to the other side of the table. She feels pretty confident in that game. Oh, but here Jeon Ji-hee recovers quickly. And in terms of confidence, that's going to put a dent in the confidence. Feng Tianwei, some fast feet from Jeon Ji-hee. This one right here isn't wide enough. Just inside, maybe a good 10 centimeters inside the sideline of the table on the backhand side. Shovel serve difficult to read. Part of the reason I think we've seen it used so much by the Chinese and the Japanese women. Actually, Per Garel, considered one of the most successful servers in the game, uses that serve as well. A lot of time thinking here for Jeon Ji-hee before the serve. But it doesn't pay off. The receive strong. Not an outright winner. Just enough pressure to take away that third ball threat. So about the Yang Haun Sehyo Won situation, cover your ears if you don't like spoilers. Sehyo Won won. So the winner of this match will be playing against Sehyo Won, top chopper from Korea. She's had some ups and downs, I'd say, in the last year and a half. She actually has sort of underperformed, under-delivered on her expectations, considering she's been one of the top choppers in the world. Still is, but one of the top 10 players in the world by world ranking. So tied up at the second towel break, 6 points apiece. Nice recovery off the top of the net, but still not enough. Jeon Ji-hee stays on top of the ball, stays on the attack. Very positive play, again, driving it forward, quite aggressive. She has a little bit more time to work with when Feng Tianwei is away from the table. The serve comes a bit too long with that high toss serve. Hugo Calderano talked about it in a recent interview. But the ball comes down with a lot more speed into the racket, which allows you to create more spin. The rubber essentially pulling the ball. So it's also tougher to control, takes more practice. Watching players like Shan Xiaona, Ai Fukuhara, amazing how controlled their serves are. And here the inside-out forehand from Feng Tianwei, an angular specialist. From the start of the match, this is something you could expect from Feng Tianwei, to stay low, play it inside out. Quick off the bounce shots from the backhand as well. Very comfortable with the fast pace of play. And the backhand, a full-on spinny backhand, tucks back and lets loose. I'm starting to think about Feng Tianwei, that she can play the game that we see from some of the top Chinese players, and that she's still, since 2010, in recent years, beaten Liu Shiwen. And I was thinking about the psychological impact of a loss under pressure. I think for a while this held Ma Long back under pressure against Zhang Jike between 2011 and 2014, but in 2015 Ma Long seemed to break free, unleashed the Ma Long that he always wanted to be, and since then hasn't been much slowing down. We will see again. It's incredibly likely, might even be guaranteed at this point, that Fan Zhendong is world #1 come April 1st. That will be the first time that he has been. On the women's side, it's been back and forth between Zhu Yuling and Chen Meng. But Feng Tianwei not far. Same with Kasumi Ishikawa. Ooh, nice recovery from the net. Feng Tianwei stays composed, keeps it deep to the backhand. And now game point for Feng Tianwei to go up 2-0. Spin shot down the line, and Feng Tianwei takes it, a 2-0 lead over Korea's Jeon Ji-hee. We'll be back for game number 3 right after this. Back for game number 3, Feng Tianwei of Singapore leading 2-0. Tough times when you want to Shazam a song and your internet's not working. Good coverage of the middle. Jeon Ji-hee flexible, having to get low to lean out of the way to use the forehand here. This was after that point in the rally. Long push, but covering the wide forehand forces Jeon Ji-hee to play it even wider if she's going to go that direction. We saw the results of that, the outcome of that situation. Oh, trying for the down-the-line shot, going bold. Reminds me of Koki Niwa. Saw him do that earlier today against Matthias Carlsen. A lot of upsets in this tournament. I feel like there's been a real rise, especially on the men's side for the Europeans. I think it's overwhelmingly European in the quarterfinals. Service warning here. Maybe it was the free arm. I was trying to look down and catch Gert Selig's warning. Oh, nice recovery from over the table from Feng Tianwei, but not enough to cause a threat. Jeon Ji-hee hangs in there, takes control of the point after absorbing that forehand flip. There's some inside out. A little bit of side spin on it as well as top spin. Left-handed players should be able to do that wide cross court. And similarly, we see Timo Boll do this a lot, where he digs deep, gets some side and top spin on it with the backhand to play it wide to the forehand. And an attempt here, but just a little bit too long. Beautiful exchange, the pace, the movement on both sides. Jeon Ji-hee looking a bit stressed right now, understandably so. And where does the timeout come from? When does it come? I think the time that it comes, a wise friend of mine said, when you think you can change the outcome of the match, that's the time for a timeout. Feng Tianwei hanging on here, 3 points in the lead. Feng Tianwei using those angles and the timing right off the bounce to stay in control, holding her ground at the back of the table. This is where she is the greatest threat. Many try, but do not succeed like Feng Tianwei to stay so quick and close. Clever idea from Jeon Ji-hee. Bring Feng Tianwei into the table, play it back, deep to the backhand corner. She can serve short to the forehand, try the same. Might take a flip. Flip to the middle, have to invest in a fifth ball opportunity, not simply the third. Feng Tianwei seems too solid in her movement and touch game. Ooh. This one goes wild here. Second towel break of the game. And with a score like this, you wouldn't see a timeout. I think if Feng Tianwei loses 3 or 4 points in a row, you might see a timeout on Feng Tianwei's side. But she seems quite in control right now. No signs of slowing down or pumping the brakes. 10-3. Singapore's Feng Tianwei, world ranked number 4. And trying to keep it short to the forehand, Jeon Ji-hee cannot find the other side of the table. 11-3. Feng Tianwei more dominant than before. 1 game away from a clean sweep. We'll see what happens. Game number 4 coming up right after this. Game number 4, Feng Tianwei leading 3-0. A very uphill battle right now for Jeon Ji-hee, who's had a very solid tournament. But this match, again, not a position she'd love to be in. Down 0-3, the toughest situation for comebacks possible, at least in terms of games. Solid opening backhand. Back to the think tank, though. What would it take for Jeon Ji-hee? Think anything she can do to get a quick early forehand. Again, the short game so important. Surprise on the receives. There's one way. Gets the early forehand. A little break off the top of the net. Not exactly what you all might have had imagined, myself included. And a well-placed serve. You know, when you're such a complete player, Feng Tianwei's been solid over the table as well. It just adds that much more pressure on the receiver. Caught in between Jeon Ji-hee, not a lot to do there. Was thinking maybe after the point before, a long push deep to the backhand. The problem is she can't show she's going there, or else Feng Tianwei gets set up and opens for the counter. Okay now, solid rally from Jeon Ji-hee. Feng Tianwei, look like when the ball wavers a little bit. Stay on top. Oh, nice abbreviated stroke, inside out, parallel forehand. Just a covering shot there. Still the ball was bending away to the corner. From the start of the point here, let's see. Will we get to see it? Yes, we will. Nice rotation there around the ball, coming over the inside and top of the ball. Should say over the top and around the inside. Almost gets it back. Nice bait there, leaving it over the short side. The backhand side of the table, right in near the net. Jeon Ji-hee getting what she wanted. So from behind and now back tied up at 4 points apiece. Jeon Ji-hee again back against the ropes. Has to win every game from here on out to take this match. Just a little bit slower to get in. I think the foot speed of Feng Tianwei, despite being the older player, Feng Tianwei 31 years old. If she were still in China playing, it would be highly unlikely she'd have the opportunity to play on the World Tour. Solid counters here. And we've seen this from many players around the world, from Ni Xiaolian, playing at 54 years old. He Jeon, Juanito in Spain. And here's the timeout for Jeon Ji-hee. 4-4, loses 2 points, and I think this is the appropriate time for a timeout. I was going to say, though, that Feng Tianwei still seems to be holding her level quite well. I'd have to look up when the last time she beat Liu Shiwen was. I feel like it was in an Asian Championships, an ATTU event, maybe 2 years back, 2016, 2015, I'm thinking at earliest. A little surprised I haven't seen a lot of shovel serves coming off of Jeon Ji-hee. As a left-handed player versus a right-handed player, it seems like it could be a very effective serve. But again, players all have different serves, or often do. Pretty individualistic thing. Talking to Anton Schellberg about where he got his serve. He said his coach told him to make a serve that was his own when he was younger. Just come up with something. It's a fun exercise to do. I was teaching a middle school course and telling the kids to do the same. Got some really creative serves back. And now it's one of Anton Schellberg's signatures. Oh, but painting the corners of the table. Feng Tianwei back and forth again, testing the footwork of Jeon Ji-hee. It's a battle for speed right now, and Feng Tianwei is clearly the faster of the two players. And it might just appear that way partially because maybe she has more control and a bit more wisdom and experience. Feng Tianwei finding the middle, finding ways to control early on in the point and set up the opening shot so that she has Jeon Ji-hee chasing. Never really lets her get settled. Those last two shots both looked quite uncomfortable for Jeon Ji-hee. So the timeout has not helped her yet. 3 points in a row for Feng Tianwei against the timeout. And now we have 6 match points for Feng Tianwei to move on to the semifinals. Cross court, it goes out. Feng Tianwei, 11-4, dominant performance here, has earned herself a date with Jeon tomorrow. right here on table 1, a table for 2. We will see. Feng Tianwei has a very interesting and unpredictable past, history, and resume against defensive players. Sehyo Wan's been up and down a bit the last 2 years, but is having a very solid tournament here. So I'm excited to see. But Singapore's pride, Feng Tianwei, moves on to the semifinals. And you can see Simon Gauzy coming in. I think he'll be playing against Xu Xin, if I remember correctly. So they'll be setting up their bags, and stick around. We've got more excitement for you right here from the World Tour Platinum German Open.